All right, let's just get into it. Ever wondered what really goes on behind the mic? Or, what it takes to cook up those deep dives you're hooked on?
It's quite the process.
It really is. Today, we're ripping into the world of podcasting. I mean, from its explosive growth to the real nitty-gritty of production.
And even how people actually make money doing this stuff.
Exactly. We've pulled together insights from a comprehensive how-to guide and a pretty detailed tutorial.
Good sources.
Yeah, trying to get the full picture. Our mission to distill the most important nuggets of knowledge. Basically give you a clear, concise understanding of what it really takes to launch and hopefully grow a successful show.
It's wild how much the audio landscape has transformed,
Truly.
isn't it? It's moved from, like, a niche hobby to a significant media force. It's huge.
Yeah.
So this deep dive, it isn't just about the practical steps, that we'll cover those. It's also about the strategic thinking. That's what sets successful podcasts apart.
The mindset.
There's a real art to it alongside the science.
So the numbers are just massive. But what's genuinely intriguing and something I'm still kind of wrapping my head around is why this shift is so powerful.
Right. For creators and listeners.
Yeah. It's not just a passing trend. It feels like a massive change in how we consume information, entertainment, everything.
Totally.
Nielsen data, for instance, projected the U.S. podcast audience would literally double by 2023. Just think about that scale.
It's incredible growth.
And it's been consistent, like a 20% compound annual growth rate, CAGR, year after year, all the way from 2014.
Sustained growth.
So for you listening, whether you're maybe considering starting a podcast or you're just curious about what's fueling this audio revolution, what does that kind of growth really signify?
Well, the implications are huge. I mean, this consistent growth doesn't just mean more listeners, obviously.
Right.
It signals fertile ground for diverse voices, new types of content.
Opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It tells us that audiences are actively seeking out audio for, deeper engagement.
Right.
And they're ready to commit time.
Which is precious.
Very. So for anyone thinking about jumping in, this isn't just a fleeting thing. It's a dynamic space with a continually expanding audience, just eager for compelling audio. It really underscores the value of understanding not just how to create, but how to truly connect.
Okay, so you're seeing the potential, that massive audience, but hold on. Before you even think about hitting record, there's a fundamental question. What kind of show do you actually want to make? It's like picking the right, vehicle for your message.
The format, crucial choice.
You've got a few main options, right? There's the solo approach. Seems simple, just you, talking directly to the listener.
A monologue.
Yeah, but the real power there is how it forces you to develop this almost intimate one-on-one connection. Takes skill.
Definitely.
Then you've got co-hosting. 2 or more people sharing the mic, bouncing ideas around, maybe interviewing guests.
More dynamic, usually.
Naturally. Step it up to 4 or more, and you're in roundtable territory. That thrives on lively, multi-perspective chats around a theme.
Can be great energy.
And, of course, interviewing is huge. Bringing in interesting guests to explore something. Often paired with co-hosting, right?
Very common combination.
Beyond those, we see narrative podcasts really shining. These are story-driven, maybe a single episode arc or a whole season, often with really creative production.
Like audio documentaries almost.
Exactly. Which leads to documentaries' rich, story-based, deep sound design, and docudramas, which are narrative shows based on real events, sometimes using reenactments.
That's a great breakdown of the types. But the deeper question here, I think.
Yeah.
What story do you want to tell? And what structure will best serve that specific story or information?
Right. It's not just style.
No. Each format fundamentally impacts your production workflow, the kind of audience you attract, how listeners engage, everything.
Like a solo show. Seems easy to start.
Well, maybe easier logistically, but holding attention alone, without someone to riff off of. That requires incredible presence, great writing.
It's deceptively difficult.
Totally. It needs real mastery.
Okay. So once you know what you want to say, the next huge step is making sure you're heard clearly.
The sound.
Have you ever tuned into a podcast and you're just straining to hear? Or you flinch at every sharp P sound?
Oh, yeah. Painful.
That's the sound of overlooked mic technique. And today, we're making sure your deep dive avoids that fate.
Good plan.
So let's talk mic basics. First, your surroundings. They matter way more than you think.
Absolutely. Room tone is real.
Find a quiet place. Honestly, even a closet full of clothes can work wonders for dampening sound.
Soft surfaces are key.
Use carpets, curtains, and seriously, turn off that hum from your AC or that mini fridge.
The little buzzes, yeah,
Yeah.
they get picked up.
Second, accessories are your friends. A mic stand is a total game changer.
Get it off the desk.
Yes. Floor stands are often better because tabletop ones pick up every little bump. And a pop filter.
Non-negotiable.
Right. Blocks those harsh plumsives, the P's and B's and sibilants, those sharp S sounds that can really... Third, be mindful of your movement. Typing, shuffling papers, clicking a mouse. Sounds tiny to you, but it jumps out in the recording.
Drives editors crazy.
And finally, mic placement. You want to be about, 2 to 4 inches from the mic?
That's the sweet spot, generally. Clear and present.
Find that sweet spot.
It's just remarkable, isn't it, how these seemingly small technical things can make or break the listener's experience.
Totally.
Clean audio, it just minimizes distractions, creates this kind of intimate space, makes sure your insights actually resonate.
And don't get lost in, a muddy soundscape.
Exactly. It's the difference between hearing about something and feeling like you're in the conversation.
Okay, so you've got your voice sounding good, your recording space is optimized. Now, what about the atmosphere?
The vibe, music.
Yeah, that catchy intro music or maybe some background ambiance. You can't just grab any song you like off Spotify.
Nope. Copyright's a thing.
Definitely. Understanding music copyright for podcasters is crucial.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's simpler than it sounds if you know where to look.
Good news.
3 main avenues. The best option by far is royalty-free music.
Right.
This is music you can use for commercial, non-commercial stuff, often with a one-time fee or even for free, and usually no attribution needed.
Makes life easy.
We're talking libraries like Pixabay, the YouTube audio library for free options, or paid services like Epidemic Sound, Soundstripe. They're fantastic for quality tracks.
Lots of choices there.
We'll link a list in the show notes for you. Second, you have Creative Commons music. Free to use, but
There's always a but.
you do have to credit the creator and follow specific license rules. Always read the fine print.
Always.
And finally, public domain music. This is stuff no longer protected by U.S. copyright, typically anything older than 70 years.
Oldies but goodies.
Completely free to use, re-record, no attribution needed. Think classical pieces, old folk songs.
What's really critical here, though, it isn't just avoiding, a legal headache. Important, yes.
But not the whole story.
No. It's about respecting the creative ecosystem, right? And building your show on a solid legal foundation so it can grow without future problems.
Peace of mind.
Plus, with public domain, there's actually a surprising amount of room for creative reinterpretation. You're not just using old music. You can become part of its new history.
Interesting angle. Opens up artistic avenues.
For sure.
All right, you've recorded your masterpiece. No time to sculpt it. This is where editing happens.
Magic.
Turning that raw audio into a seamless professional deep dive. Good news, you don't need super expensive software.
Accessibility is key.
2 fantastic free options. GarageBand for Mac users, incredibly intuitive. And Audacity works on Windows and Mac, also really easy to learn.
Both great starting points.
But the audio, it's not the only thing listeners engage with, is it?
No. Show notes.
Exactly. Great show notes are like a secret weapon for engagement, discoverability.
So important, often overlooked.
I remember my first attempt. Basically just a bulleted list of keywords. Totally missed the point.
We've all been there.
They're not just for SEO. They guide listeners, like a map. Good ones usually include a compelling episode summary, like a 3 to 5 paragraph elevator pitch of what people will gain.
No, come in.
Then time-stamped key takeaways, like a table of contents. Let people jump to sections they care about.
Super useful for listeners.
Links to resources are crucial. Curated links to books, videos, articles, and obviously direct links to follow your podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google.
Make it easy for them.
You can even include images, videos, episode credits, embed visuals, link to books on Amazon, credit your guests, your team.
Give credit where it's due.
And to optimize them, embed them on a dedicated page on your podcast website. Use short, memorable permalinks, and definitely do some keyword research tools like Answer the Public or Keyword Surfer can help.
Exactly. Show notes are your digital handshake with the listener. Essential for discoverability.
Right.
You hit a critical point.
Yeah.
It's not just what you say, but how easily people can find it and engage later. They're a powerful bridge, guiding listeners deeper, making your show searchable, shareable.
Multiplies the value.
Absolutely. It really multiplies the value of your audio content.
Okay, so you've perfected the audio, written amazing show notes. Now what? How do you get your deep dive into people's ears? Millions of ears, hopefully.
Distribution and marketing time.
It's all about submission and then strategic marketing. First, the submission process. You need to get your ducks in a row.
Gather your info.
Yep. Podcast name, description, 3 relevant categories, your trailer or first episode audio, episode title description, copyright owner, a public contact email.
The checklist.
Then choose a podcast hosting platform. This is your show's home base online. Lots of options. Buzzsprout, Libsyn, Resonate podcast hosting. All solid choices.
Where the files live.
Once you've picked one, set up your account and get your RSS feed URL. This unique link is how directories find your show.
The magic key.
Then you manually submit that RSS feed to the major directories: Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, TuneIn.
Got to be where the listeners are.
You'll wait for approval. It'll take a few hours, maybe up to a week for Apple sometimes.
Patience is needed there.
And finally, boom. Share your podcast with the world. Use a smart link service like Charitable Smart Links, helps direct listeners to their favorite platform.
Makes sharing clean.
But just submitting, that's not enough, is it?
Not even close. Now the real work starts.
You need to shout about your deep dive from the rooftops. Key marketing tactics. Share on any social channels you already have.
Leverage existing platforms.
Start an email list for dedicated fans. Cross-promote with other podcasters. Huge potential there.
Build community.
Create engaging audiograms or social cards with great quotes from each episode. Visuals help.
Definitely catch the eye.
Don't forget press releases to industry sites like Pod News. Get transcripts good for accessibility and SEO.
Smart moves.
And seriously, build a dedicated podcast website, a simple WordPress site, custom domain. It makes a huge difference in looking professional.
Your home base online. Crucial. This brings up such a critical point, though. Phenomenal content is king. Yes, we all say that. But distribution and marketing, that's your entire kingdom. Without a solid strategy here, even the most profound deep dive can just sit there, undiscovered.
Lost in the noise.
Exactly. It's about building that clear, effective path from your microphone to the listener's ears. And for anyone starting out, the challenge isn't just getting listed.
It's getting noticed.
It's breaking through and standing out. That demands consistency, creativity in your promotion. It's ongoing work.
For sure. So you've put in all this work. You've built an audience, maybe. Your deep dive's making waves. The big question everyone asks.
Ah, yes, the money question.
Can you actually make money doing this?
$1 million or maybe $10 question.
The straightforward answer is, it depends.
Always.
So many factors.
Income is heavily based on your specific sponsorship deals, your audience size, and really crucially, engagement.
How connected your listeners are.
AdvertiseCast reports average ad rates are currently around $18 CPM cost per 1,000 listeners for a 30-second ad, and maybe $25 CPM for a 60-second spot.
Gives you a ballpark figure. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Beyond traditional ads, you can really explore affiliate marketing.
Promoting products.
Yeah, promoting products directly to your audience, earning a commission if they buy through your unique link. It really leverages the trust you've built.
Turns that connection into support.
Yeah, tangible support.
And when we talk monetization, it's really not just about those ad rates, you know?
There's more to it.
It's fundamentally about valuing your audience, valuing the community you've cultivated. Affiliate marketing, like you said, highlights how that genuine connection can translate.
Right.
But there are other models emerging too, right? Listener subscriptions, maybe through Patreon, premium content for exclusive access, even live events once you have that core community.
Diversifying streams.
Exactly. That's key for long-term sustainability, I think, especially as the whole industry keeps evolving.
Absolutely. Well, from the impressive growth of the audience to the finer points of mic technique, music rights, getting listed, marketing.
And even making a buck.
And even earning potential. We've taken a real deep dive into this world of podcasting.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. So whether you're looking to start your own show, or maybe you just appreciate the craft behind your favorites a bit more now.
Hope so.
We hope this has given you some, surprising facts and definitely some valuable insights that go beyond just the surface level.
And as you sort of reflect on all this, maybe consider this question.
Okay.
As the podcasting landscape keeps evolving, new tech, new listener habits emerging all the time, how might those core principles of compelling audio storytelling adapt? Or perhaps, how will they remain constant, even with all this change?
That's a good one.
It's a fascinating thought, right? Keep that in mind as you listen to your next favorite show, or maybe as you plan your own. What stands out to you about the future of audio?